So most of you have made these cones, which I asked you to make in the last video. Some of you use paper like this, but the problem with the print paper is that it's a little stiffer than I would like. But if that's what you have at home, that's what you have at home. That's fine. And then you have these cones. The other thing is this should be done. Your armature. And I wanted to just point out that don't forget to put this little 2.5-inch piece of wire right here and in the front and the back to help separate the legs and also just to strengthen the whole piece. You've also had these L-shape wires that have gone down here that have helped make this also, the middle part of the body, stronger. And lastly, I coiled a lot of wire around this, and this, and also throughout the body. And it's also hooked on if you notice, it's also hooked on the neck, and it's also hooked on the tail part. And that's really important. These are just kind of very tentatively bent right now. And this is kind of stiff, but it works. And what I was hoping you guys could do with whatever animal you're choosing is that you would start bending your animal so he gets some life into him. And this one, which I hope you can see, the back, the head is looking backwards. He's going to see what's behind him. The tail I bent so that it goes this way, and it's got this nice kind of a curve. The legs are also bent, so one is forward, one is a little less forward, and then the back legs are also almost ready to go somewhere. So this one's bent, and this one's bent as well, more so than this one, but it actually does stand in the end. So that's also really important too. If you look at that, it's got a nice gesture to it, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. If you get a kind of a gesture in here would be nice. Let me see if I can show it up here. Would that you'd be able to see that better? So here's I don't know. There's a lot of, again, I have the sun out today, which is tricky. So he's got a nice gesture, as opposed to being very stiff like this one here. It gets kind of stiff. I mean, it's okay, but it's a little formal, little stiff. So, but I am going to show you on this one how to start building up your building up your the body of your animal. So let me see. Here, I think that's going to help. I just put more of a barrier on there so it's not so much sun. Okay, so I have my armature ready. The other thing I want to talk about is tape. So I have a lot of tape. I have tape here, tape over here, and I want to show you how I like to cut tape so that it's really fast. You get a nice long piece. It's about 1 foot. And you don't cut off each one. And the other thing you have to do is you have to cut a lot of them. I have right now, I would say, I have about 20. And these are about 2 inches, 3 inches. If you want to make them longer, you can. But just put them anywhere you can that it's easily accessible. Now I'm putting them here because I'm doing this video right now for you. But you put them on an edge of a table. Put them here. You have your cones accessible. So I have quite a bit of tape here. So the cones I'm going to start with are going to help. What this does is it helps build up places for you to attach your bulk to, what your animal's actually going to look like. So I like to start right about here. Right here, the torso, here's the neck. And don't, a couple of you asked me about cutting wire. Don't cut you don't cut anything. You bend it before you cut it, or get rid of it, like the head. A lot of you want to do different kind of a head. I'm going to put this corner of my cone right there, and I'm going to pull this really tight. I want them super tight. I'm going to flip this over like this, and I'm going to put the another piece of tape on here so it attaches to the body. So there's one. I'm now going to do, that's okay right now. I'm now going to, I'm kind of flattening this out, and I am going to fold this in half. Fold that in half. I'm going to even make it tighter. And I want to put the body, I'm going to put both of these here because I want to build up the legs. And I'm going to put another, I'm going to grab another piece of tape. And I don't recommend you use use masking tape. Don't use Scotch tape. It's not strong enough. I'm going to bring this leg down to here before I attach the top part. And I'm going to put the tape right here. If you notice, this point is right on there, right on the wire. And you are going to start showing, your body's going to start come to life. And I am pressing everything down a lot. I even may put a piece of tape right here because I really want this to be nice and snug against the wire. If you make this too loose, it's really hard to attach things to it because everything gets just wobblier and wobblier, and you don't want, wobble's not good. So again, I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to put this here, like this. And this is what it looks like below right now. And I'm going to fold this. I want this to do exactly what the other one did. So that's pretty parallel. Put a piece of tape here. Nice and snug around there, like that. And I'm also going to do what I did here. I'm going to wrap that around so it's a little tighter too. Also, if you wrap it around the legs, it makes it stronger up here as well on the torso. Nice and tight. Like that. Okay. So I have 3 cones on here so far. And you can see why I told you to make 40 of these things, because you're going to need them. Here's another piece of tape here. I may even put one here too. I don't know why tape is so expensive, but it is. Okay, I'm going to now do one in the back. I want to build up. If I had a really long tail on here, I would maybe put, I may put this on here. Let's see. So let's do this. I'm going to put one to extend the body part. Piece of tail here. I'm going to flip this over because I think nice and tight. And you really need 2 hands to do this with, otherwise it's just not gonna, it's gonna be hard to hold its shape. Okay. I'm gonna also put something over here too, right here. And that is, all right, like that. So I have this here. this tail. I think I'm also gonna bend that tail just a little bit. And also, as you're doing this, make sure that you're doing all this bending. Make sure that your piece can still stand up. All right, that's really important. Okay. I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make this into a deer. We live in an area where there's so many deer, and I'm not a real big fan of deer because they eat everything. And we don't have rules in New Jersey about controlling the population, so we have a million of them. So I'm going to put this one, that's a little side note, I want to put this one here, and I'm also going to put the next leg in the back. I'm going to put this one, so I'm going to put these two on. And then I'm going to stop the video, build it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next stage. So let's do this. Okay, I've almost run out of tape, by the way, and I had cut about 20 of them. And I want this to go all the way down this leg. I'll tape it. So I'm going to need more tape in a minute. The other thing on the positive note about deer is they're very beautiful animals. They're elegant, they're graceful, and I feel bad for them. You know, they're trying to find something to eat. It's not their fault. But, you know, people that spend a lot of money on their yards and their gardens, they don't really want any deer around. All right. I'm going to put the next one on here. And you see I've already started to really build that up quite a bit. If you think it's not standing up, adjust the legs a little bit because they probably got a little bent out of shape. I have 4 more pieces of tape, and then I'm going to have to stop because you really can't cut a piece of tape and hold the newspaper at the same time. I'm going to roll this around here. And if it's slipping, that means that you're doing it correctly, because that means that you're trying to hold it really tight. Get the there we go. Get the paper in the right spot, and also tape it at the same time. Now I'm going to, and this is still retaining a fairly geometric, a fairly symmetrical shape. So let's look at that here. I've taped it down here. You could even put some tape over here. But I want to show you, this is where you should be. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cones. And then you're going to have to add more to it. But first, you need more tape. So I've cut a lot more tape. It's on the edge here. You can just see it here. And I have my body that I left the same as when we paused. And I need to start building up some bulk on my animal. And I'm going to take, this is a half a sheet of newspaper. And I am going to kind of roll this and scoop this together. I don't want a ball. And I want you to keep part of it. Let me set this over. I want to keep part of it as flat as I can. So the bottom part here is going to stay flat because I need to be able to attach that to my body. So I'm going to kind of scoop this together like that. And I'm going to do that one more time because I don't think you really saw that. I'm going to tear this paper in half. Also, it's along the length of the newspaper, which is really easy to do. And I am going to scrunch this together. And I'm going to scrunch. I did a better job on the last one because this is tearing all over the place. Let's do this one more time. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's really old newspaper. That could be it. Okay, this is better. I have this nice and flat on one side. It has some bulk, and it's got the part that I scrunched together. So I'm going to put this underneath. I want to build up the torso. The torso is the chest of the animal, and I'm going to put this right here. Then I'm going to put a piece of tape here, and I'm going to tape. I put the tape, flat tape here, and then I rolled it up on the wire. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put some tape here, and I'm going to attach it underneath the body. So now, if you see, I've just built up my torso. I think I'm going to even add one more. I want it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put this on a nice, and I keep pushing the paper together so that it'll stay there, stay scrunched up. I'm going to put a piece of tape here, and I'm going to put a big piece of tape right here. And that's nice and bulked up. Now I'm going to take one of my cones. And I'm going to put this cone, there are the P's on the newspaper, but I'm going to put this cone here, and I want to encase those pieces of newspaper that I put there. And put this down like this. So I've attached it to the neck again. We'll bring this over here. We'll put another piece of tape down here. And that's underneath the body. And you see, and that is nice and tight. Now I'm going to do this again in the back. You see, I want to do another one of these. Actually, I have an old one that I have here. I'm going to do this one instead so it saves some time. I'm going to take this one that I have, and I'm going to put this back here. And that looks good there. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to take a cone and attach it to the tail. Right here. I'm going to wrap that around that tail nice and tight, really tight. And then I'm going to put the cone over that wrapped up newspaper, crumpled up newspaper. I'll put that right here. Now all of a sudden, this animal is starting to take on a life. It's starting to look less like wire and more like a creature, an animal. I'm going to put a piece of tape here, I decided, and here to hold that together. I'm going to add another piece here, I think, right here. And then I'm going to keep adding more and more on here. You could also have another piece that goes up here with the cone up here. And in the next part of this video, I'll do a separate one. I'll show it more bulked up.